Let's jump to our next section. Is actually how to write a good prompt. As you said, like whatever you put into ChatGPT or other AI tools, that's what you get in the output. You're actually in the PicFinder.ai. This is actually what you do. Maybe you can tell us about the product and show us like how to write prompts, what are the source of the prompts, like any best practices that developers can use.
Sure. Can I share my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me just share this app window. Okay, so this is PicFinder. PicFinder's whole deal is that we make image generation as fast as image search. So PicFinder very much looks like a search engine. And you can just, it's open, you can prompt it immediately to get results. I also created some example prompts. But what is important is that to know that like prompts we use stable diffusion models. A lot of stuff online is actually stable diffusion. So you usually want to follow a structure like the subject, things like the background or the context that your character is placed in. You want to mention like any additional objects that you have around them. You want to mention the style of the image that you're trying to achieve. You want to mention maybe the lighting that the character is placed in. But basically, you kind of want to have this in order where the most important thing always goes first, and then you kind of in decreasing importance, you have the other elements. AI will sometimes be unpredictable, and sometimes you'll see that you want the character, but if a character is usually placed in a certain environment, you might want to move the environment closer to the beginning. It might not be that important to you, but it's important for the algorithm to understand the environment correctly. The other thing is that there's a lot of, I would say there's like two main, I'm not sure if it's two, but there's a few main styles with AI. There's photorealism and there's other kinds of styles. So we're gonna try and do, so I was thinking earlier today about like puzzle games, merge games now tend to have
Yep.
decoration mechanics, right? So you tend to kind of have a character and you'd have some sort of decoration mechanic behind it. So I was thinking, okay, if you were creating the background, you would be starting with something like an empty living room.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you would probably want to have like a minimal, you do not want to have too many
Yep.
details. You'd want to have it like in a minimal style. I'm thinking you probably want something that looks crisp, so it's like a 3D render, and you maybe an illustration style, so you don't want it to be super photorealistic, and then maybe soft lighting. And let's see what this generates. Right. So there is some this is, by the way, we have a few models. What I would suggest is using this is the base model, but these are quite great quality models and they will generate slightly different results. So yes, I think we have to see, this is a great example. We kind of need to maybe introduce a different color, maybe add like pastel colors. Um, and then maybe say no furniture, maybe try to explain to the AI what we are trying to do here. And then you start to have like an image that you can finally use and
Yeah.
you could turn into a background. You also have different formats. So for instance, if you're going to set the image to a portrait format, it's going to look different. And again, you could pick any of these and start to use it as a background for what you are trying to decorate. I'm not going to go through like the process for every item because I've created some prompts already, but you can basically see that it's pretty easy. It's
Right.
open, you just go online,
Yeah.
search for what you need, and so on. And let me see. I actually created this prompt earlier and I got actually, see, I used slightly different keywords. I used like animated, flat, cartoon, and I got these more cartoony looking elements. I was looking like, okay, but what if I wanted a sofa? Or like, let's say you've completed the level and then, you add elements and you kind of add decoration items. Then you have these types of items, and then you can remove the background and use them. Or again, you can give them to your artist to be like, okay, I want something in this style. Maybe you want the character as well, like what character is populating your game. And I created this in a slightly different style. I was looking at these kind of cartoony characters that are sometimes used in these merging cooking games, Love and Pies and like Fiona's Farm and all of this stuff. I love those types of games, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Um, and all of this is just like you can see that the prompts are fairly simple. There's nothing like there's not that much to it, honestly. I think the key is to just start experimenting, like just start playing around with these tools. And also remember that again, actually, AI changes a lot. So for instance, you'll see like if I change this to landscape, the house will be in the distance, it will be in the back, it will be a different shape of house. Um, so it will be there the results will be quite different
Mm.
from what you expect. So it's worth playing around with the format and the model as well to kind of get these examples. Oh, and I was mentioning earlier that you can generate things like backgrounds. So I was looking at kind of backgrounds you can create. This is like a mountain background. What was I doing here? I think this is a sky background, but also things like jewels, gems, all these types of things. And PicFinder, by the way, you can just infinitely scroll for results until you find something you like. That is kind of the deal. It generates images. You can see that it generates images extremely quickly. So the advantage of that is like you can immediately just change the prompt and just get new results and kind of figure out what you want as you're going along. You don't have to kind of have a super clear idea from the beginning. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we should play around with this. Maybe our viewers can try something with a PicFinder and share what the if they send the link, will the results will be there?
Yes, exactly. So if I send you this link right now, the
Yeah,
results
exactly.
will be there. Actually, I was thinking that a lot of people will do Halloween. So
Yeah.
again, you can generate things like Halloween assets and decorations. So it's very easy to just do whatever you want. And again, if you share the link with your artist, the link will be there. You can also download the images. You can upscale them at higher resolution and so on. Yeah, so I was saying PicFinder is a very new product. In many ways, we consider it an MVP. We're adding a lot of very useful things these days. So for instance, you'll see that the base model is not is like a standard stable diffusion model, and like the stuff that it does is sometimes very interesting, sometimes weird. So we're changing like the base model to something entirely new. We're adding albums so you can organize your images. But generally, the key thing about PicFinder is that for how simple it is to use, it is extremely flexible with the prompting. You get 500 images generated per day for free right now,
Yeah.
and any of the paid plans, which are like between $5 to $30, they all have infinite generations, and the generation is incredibly fast. So basically, you can get as many assets as you need just to brainstorm, to explore, to do whatever you want, and we're adding like features as rapidly as we can. And notably, there's been like more than 190 million generated images with PicFinder in under 6 months. We're hoping to have like a really big Q4 this year with all of the features out, with more users than ever, and to make it also easier to register than it is right now. Yeah, but we love supporting indies. We also love to train models for studios. We're working with a few studios on creating some models for them, so that they can kind of use PicFinder at the speed of that it is at, but actually have art in their own unique style that they created. So if you're also interested in that, get in touch with us. We'd love to do it. But if you're also just building prototypes, you should be able to get like a lot of great assets or great inspiration fairly quickly by just kind of doing a little clever prompting.
Yeah, and when I was looking all of those like pictures, I thought like if I have an app, I would probably play a lot with my app icon with this sort of stuff, and I'll generate and test a lot of variations here.
Yeah, so if you actually you can do this, so you can do a lot of like icon stickers, badges are always a great idea.
Mm.
Collectibles and games work really well. So if you have like Halloween game icon, mobile game, app store, let's see, square icon, minimal cartoon. Let's see what we got. Let's do the square format. Yeah, and interestingly, this model, by the way, really prefers humans. It's a model that is trained a lot on like human faces and human characters. And you can see that it generates kind of a lot of these like human cat inspired elements. And again, you can actually test out the different models to see what um, results you get, and you can probably get various generations depending on how specific you make your prompt and what your game is. For instance, right now I just added this pumpkin, but if I wanted to generate like to add a character or something like that, it would be possible. Oh, something very, very important that I can't believe I didn't mention. It's possible to click on an image. Let's take one, and actually it will be set as an image to image, and then you'll get new images in that style. And that's very, very powerful. You can also upload an image
Ah,
to get the prompt behind the image, to get the actual
mm,
text. So if you need inspiration, um, it's a great way to kind of get a starting prompt for the image.
right.
Yeah.
So I can, I don't know, choose my competitor's icon, upload it here if I really like it, and it will give me all of the alternatives.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And keep in mind the AI, what you see and what the AI sees might be different. So you
Mm,
might think that a certain element in the image is super important, and the AI might think that the colors are very important or something like
yeah,
that. But in the case of an icon of like minimal styles, the structure of the image is fairly clear, so it's relatively easy to replicate, right? So, and they also, the new models also listen fairly well to things like add white back. I already have white background on a lot of these. I'm curious if I like, yeah, it's going to be much more. It listens to stuff like white background as well and those types of elements. So I can kind of remove the background off of some of these and use them immediately.